Okay, this review is of Northwest Golf Course in Montgomery County, Maryland. It's just on Layhill Road, just northeast of Silver Spring, Maryland. Pretty convenient course to get to off of Route 200, but I thought it was a pretty good course. It was definitely in decent shape. I would say a very long course. It's 7,300 yards from the black tees. Anyway, the point is that it was a nice course, a fairly decently wooded course. Some parts of it were heavily wooded, some parts not. It reminded me of a lot of different courses in the sense that the trees were in play in some parts and not really in others. There's a fair amount of waste, a certain degree of verticality, which is good. There wasn't really a lot of verticality. Most of the course was flat, and there were some holes where there was some verticality, but there wasn't anything outrageous. And I was fairly impressed with the course condition. It was in decent condition, although I did have sort of a half case of greenskeeper fouling as a lead-in to a more significant case of greenskeeper fouling. So it's been the first time in a while that I've had any greenskeeper fouling during play, but this is definitely one of those courses where it happened. Greenskeeper decided he was going to walk on our green while we were approaching because he apparently thought we were too far away to reach the green, and took a stroll around the green with this cart up there next to the green. And then after I put a 2-iron up there next to the green, while he was standing there, he decided to get on this cart and come driving down the fairway while we were coming up the fairway. So that was fairly obnoxious. It was a nice course in the overall sense. Almost no houses in view from the course, except for I'd say number 8 and 9. Is it 8 and 9? No, it's 6 and 7. Where it passes by Layhill Road, where the entrance to the course is. And also there's some road noise coming off of I-200 we could hear. Unfortunately, really, bikes and performance cars, guys with tuned cars and stuff, you could hear the exhaust for miles, really. So it isn't so much a problem with the courses as that you could just hear them in general. And some plane noise. Of course, there was a small plane that flew by overhead, not too close, but still there, and some jets. There's the traffic going into BWI that passes by over that section of the county. So it was, I think, a pretty quiet, very laid back, very relaxed course for most of the course until you got to the end of the backside, and certainly number 9, because it comes right into the clubhouse, and there's the chipping green and so forth are right there. There's a lot of activity going around the clubhouse, and you're playing up to that green, and there's lots of people milling around behind the green. But there were certainly parts of the course where we got into a zone. We're out there, and just the trees, the grass, and the clubs and some beer and the cart lady rolling through, which is nice. She did roll through quite a few times, maybe 3 times per side. So no shortage of beverages or refreshment while we were out there. And it did well on the hot dog test. They had nice hot dogs, grilled up. I guess you'd say they were barbecued or grilled style, and nice clubhouse. Very, very nice big place. Nice pro shop, but even better dining area in there. You could sit down and watch TV and stuff. It was nice. And a nice little deck on the back next to the 10th tee box, and also there's an executive 9-hole in the middle of the course. And it was pretty decent course, especially for a county course. It was really nice. I wouldn't say it was as nice as the clubhouse at Little Bennett, not by a long shot, but it was definitely nicer than, say, Redgate. Certainly up there. And I was surprised at how good it was and so forth. And I would say that most of the course is knocking on the door for an A. Very good, nice greens. They aerated a few of the greens. You could tell There were some aeration effects on the greens, but they weren't that bad. They didn't use a plug aeration. They used the blade type, and you could see like ridges from where the grass had grown over and so forth. But still, generally, greens were decent condition. A little on the slow side, but still decent condition. Not too flat, not too wavy or anything like that. And just a decent challenge. Certainly, fairways that were wide enough, but not too wide. Dog legs and everything, they were good challenge. It was a good, moderate challenge. I'd say a step above a lot of, I guess, courses that were similar to this course, but not quite the same. And overall, I enjoyed the round. It was a lot of fun. Definitely a great atmosphere for golf. I have to admit, while we played, it was not a cloud in the sky, and it was bright and just absolutely got fried out there, but it was still fun. Good amount of shade, and all in all, I would say that except for a couple of holes, maybe where it runs alongside Layhill Road, the course was just about as peaceful and quiet as you could ask, and just laid back. And if I could take maybe half of, really, I think it's maybe like 5, 6, and 7, because 8 is a dogleg right that goes up the hill, and 9 comes back to the clubhouse. Say 5, 6, and 7. You take those out, they were like a notch below because of the road noise coming off Layhill Road. Otherwise, it was a really decent course. Not an outstanding course. I wouldn't say it was a great course. I would say it was a solid, good hitter's course that definitely challenged your length from the back tees. Even from the blue tees, it was probably still about 7,100 yards. And it was a good, solid round of golf. Not overly expensive, though, it wasn't cheap. Saturday afternoon golf was, up in the $60 range, which, for a county course is not, exactly cheap at all. But a good round. I definitely have to give the course a B at least. I don't know, but possibly I would give it a B plus considering the clubhouse. They have a nice big driving range there, which rain protection and everything is probably just as much as anything. It was a driving range as much as it was a course. And I just think it probably hit golf on just about every cylinder, except for the fact that really weren't that any great views, or really wasn't much that you could see there. Not any holes, I think, where a lake was in play really at all. Certainly there were some creeks, and certainly there was some waste carries and stuff, but nothing really that much of a challenge. And certainly no lakes, certainly no ponds or anything like that. And I think that those were like a couple of knocks down, definitely, from a really great A course, but a decent course, absolutely a decent course. And certainly a long course, and certainly a good, driving challenge, iron challenge. So certainly a B. I don't know if I quite give it a B plus, but it was a B, B in there, B plus in the middle there somewhere. And I think that's probably all that really can be said. A decent round, nothing outstanding, but definitely a good course and good food, and certainly all that the essentials were there. Let's put it that way. That's Northwest Golf Course in Silver Spring, Maryland.